Have you ever stood in the middle of your living room just for a moment and realized that your legs, those same legs that once walked miles without thought, now feel just a little less steady beneath you? Maybe it's not pain. Maybe it's not even fear. It's just a quiet hesitation, a subtle shift, as if each step is asking for more permission than it used to. You tell yourself it's age, and perhaps it is. But part of you still wonders, why does standing up from this chair feel harder than it did last year? Why do the stairs feel longer than they used to? Why do my feet sometimes feel like strangers instead of friends I've known all my life? If you've asked yourself these questions, in the stillness of morning or in the solitude of night, please know you're not alone. There are reasons your legs feel the way they do. Real ones, rooted not just in age, but in how we move, how we eat, what signals our bodies send, and what they silently ask us for. And the good news is, there are also answers, gentle ones, hopeful ones. Rooted in awareness, in small choices, in the quiet but powerful decision to say, my legs still matter, my steps still count. If this speaks to something you've been feeling lately, drop a comment below, or even just a word, to remind someone else that they're not alone either. And if you'd like to keep walking this journey together, you're warmly invited to subscribe to Olive Wisdom, where every story, every step, and every season of life is honored. 1. Sedentary lifestyle. Have you ever felt like your favorite armchair has developed a magnetic pull, making it just a little harder to stand up each time? Or maybe you've noticed that familiar flight of stairs suddenly feels more like climbing a mountain? There's often an invisible culprit at play, quietly stealing strength from our legs. And surprisingly, its biggest accomplice is often our comfortable, sedentary lifestyle. It sounds a bit dramatic, doesn't it? But think about it. When we spend too much time sitting, watching TV, scrolling through our phones, or simply not moving much, the muscles in our legs, like a team that never gets called onto the field, start to think their job is done. They get lazy, weaken, and can even begin to shrink. This is the classic use it or lose it principle happening right inside our bodies. It's not just about feeling a bit tired. This loss of strength directly impacts our balance, making us feel less steady on our feet. Simple movements become more challenging, and most worryingly, the risk of falling increases significantly. For older adults, a fall isn't just painful. It can lead to serious injuries and threaten the independence we cherish. But here's the exciting part. This story doesn't have to end that way. You are the author of the next chapter for your legs. You hold the power to wake up that sleepy muscle team. The solution isn't about grueling workouts or expensive gym memberships. It's about rediscovering the joy in movement and weaving it naturally into your day. Imagine taking a gentle walk in the park each morning, breathing in the fresh air and feeling your steps grow steadier and more confident. Picture the soothing feeling of water supporting your body as you swim a few laps. A fantastic way to work your muscles without stressing your joints. Or consider the graceful flowing movements of Tai Chi, which not only improve your physical balance beautifully, but also bring a sense of calm to your mind. The most important takeaway is this: you have the power to prevent this decline. You're not destined to lose leg strength just because you're getting older, if you choose to stay active. It's about making a conscious effort to build more movement into your daily routine. This doesn't mean you need to train like an athlete. Consistency is far more important than intensity. Even small changes, like taking a short walk every day, choosing stairs over the elevator when possible, or simply getting up to stretch and walk around the house every hour can make a huge difference over time. Remember, every step you take, every gentle movement you make is an investment in your strength, your mobility, and most importantly, your independence for years to come. Start awakening the power in your legs today. 2. Age-related muscle loss, sarcopenia. Remember that feeling we talked about, where maybe everyday tasks feel a bit heavier, or those familiar stairs seem just a touch taller than they used to? There's often a natural process working quietly behind the scenes, especially once we cross the threshold into our 50s, 60s, and beyond. It has a scientific name, sarcopenia, but please don't let that sound intimidating. Think of it simply as the body's tendency, over time, to gradually let go of some muscle mass and strength. It's like our internal muscle-building factory naturally slows down production a bit if we don't keep placing consistent orders through activity. This isn't a sign of failure or something you did wrong. It's a common biological shift that happens as we age, a bit like hair turning gray or skin becoming less elastic. Understanding this process, this sarcopenia, is actually incredibly empowering because it helps explain why you might notice subtle, or sometimes not so subtle, changes. Perhaps you're not quite as zippy getting out of a deep armchair, or maybe carrying that laundry basket upstairs leaves you feeling more exerted than it once did. This gradual weakening isn't just a minor annoyance, it's a key player, a major reason why balance can become trickier and that risk of falls we mentioned earlier increases. Think about it. Strong muscles, particularly in our legs, hips, and core, act like our body's built-in scaffolding and support system. When they weaken, our foundation becomes less secure, making us more prone to those unexpected wobbles or stumbles. This can understandably knock our confidence and even make us hesitant about participating fully in activities we enjoy. But here's the truly fantastic part, the empowering plot twist in this aging story. While sarcopenia might be a natural tendency, it is absolutely not an inevitable sentence you just have to accept. You possess powerful, accessible tools to push back against this tide and keep your muscles robust, functional, and ready for action, no matter the number on your birthday cake. Your most effective ally in this friendly fight? Regular resistance training, and please erase any images of needing to become a super intense gym fanatic. We're talking about accessible, manageable exercises that simply ask your muscles to work against some kind of force. This could mean lifting light hand weights while watching your favorite show, using stretchy resistance bands for simple arm and leg movements while seated, doing squats while holding onto a sturdy chair for balance and support, performing push-ups against a wall, or even just consciously engaging your muscles as you carry your shopping bags into the house. These activities are like sending a direct memo to your muscles. Attention! Your services are still very much required. Please stay strong and capable. And you need to give those muscles the right supplies to follow orders. Pair this activity with its essential partner, adequate protein. Imagine protein as the crucial shipment of bricks and mortar needed to repair, rebuild, and reinforce your muscle structures after you've put them to work. Ensuring you get enough high-quality protein spread throughout your day, from delicious sources like chicken, fish, beans, lentils, tofu, eggs, Greek yogurt, or nuts, provides the fundamental building blocks your body needs to counteract muscle breakdown and maintain that precious strength. So learning about sarcopenia isn't meant to cause worry or resignation. Instead, it highlights precisely why actively choosing to incorporate some simple strength exercises into your routine and being mindful of your protein intake becomes such a vital, positive strategy as the years advance. It's your personal action plan for staying powerful, balanced, independent, and fully engaged in the vibrant life you want to live. 3. Vitamin D deficiency. You know how we soak up sunshine to keep our bones strong? Well, buckle up because that same amazing vitamin D is playing a secret, super important role as a personal trainer for your muscles. And understanding this could be a game changer for staying steady on your feet. Isn't that fascinating? We hear so much about calcium and bones, but vitamin D is right there alongside, acting like a crucial messenger that helps tell your muscles exactly how and when to work properly. Think of it like the electricity powering up your muscle fibers. Without enough juice, things can feel a bit sluggish, less powerful, and not quite as responsive as you'd like. When those vitamin D levels dip, it can directly lead to muscles feeling weaker, which is something we definitely want to avoid. Now here's a little twist that life throws our way as we gather more birthdays. Our bodies naturally get a bit less superstar-like at handling vitamin D. Firstly, our skin, bless its heart, just doesn't whip up vitamin D from sunlight quite as efficiently as it did back in the day. Imagine it like a trusty old solar panel that's still working, but maybe not capturing the sun's rays with the same youthful zest. Secondly, even the vitamin D we do get from sunshine, yummy foods, or supplements needs a little internal makeover, mostly by our kidneys, to become the active form our muscles can actually use. And guess what? That internal makeover process can also slow down a tad with age. It's like the ingredients are arriving, but the chef isn't quite as quick at prepping them for the final dish. The end result of these gentle slowdowns is that it becomes surprisingly easy and actually quite common for folks over 50 or 60 to have lower than ideal vitamin D levels, often without even realizing it, until they notice changes in their strength or balance. And please believe me, this isn't just some number on a lab test. Low vitamin D can genuinely make you feel less stable. When your muscles aren't getting that optimal vitamin D signal, they can become weaker and tire more easily. This can make simple things like getting up from a chair feel harder, walking feel less secure, and unfortunately, it directly bumps up that risk of taking a tumble. It's like your muscles are trying their best, but they're missing a key instruction from their command center, leaving you feeling a bit wobbly. But here comes the sunshine again, literally and figuratively. Just like with keeping muscles active, this is absolutely something you have the power to influence positively. Getting some sensible sun exposure is still a great starting point. Maybe 10 to 15 minutes on your arms and legs a few times a week, being careful not to burn, of course. You can also become a vitamin D detective in the grocery store, looking for fortified foods like milk, yogurt, cereals, and orange juice, which have extra vitamin D added. And don't forget delicious fatty fish like salmon or mackerel. They're natural vitamin D powerhouses. However, because of those age-related changes we chatted about, sometimes sunshine and food alone aren't quite enough to keep your levels topped up for optimal muscle function. This is where supplements can step in as a really helpful teammate. And this brings us to a really personal, practical thought. Since everyone's body, lifestyle, and sun exposure is different, playing guessing games with vitamin D isn't the best plan. It's truly worthwhile having a chat with your doctor and asking about a simple blood test to see exactly where your vitamin D levels stand. Knowing your number takes out the guesswork. Based on that, your doctor can give you personalized advice on the best strategy for you. Whether it's focusing more on diet, getting a bit more sun safely, or adding a specific supplement dose, taking this simple step is like ensuring your muscles' communication lines are wide open and receiving all the right signals, helping you stay strong, balanced, and confidently moving through your wonderful life. 4. Peripheral neuropathy, nerve damage in legs. Now, keeping our muscles strong with essentials like vitamin D is only half the battle for staying steady. We also need clear signals traveling down to our feet. But what happens when those signals get scrambled, maybe making your feet feel numb, tingly, or strangely weak? This is where we need to chat about something called peripheral neuropathy, which is basically a fancy term for damage to the nerves in your legs and feet. Ever felt that weird, persistent pins and needles sensation that just won't quit? Or maybe a strange numbness that makes it hard to feel the ground beneath you? Perhaps you've noticed a surprising weakness creeping into your steps, making walking feel a bit uncertain or clumsy. These feelings aren't just random annoyances. They can be signals that the vital communication lines running down your legs are experiencing some trouble. Think of the nerves in your legs like intricate telephone wires, constantly relaying messages back and forth between your brain and spinal cord and your leg muscles and skin. They tell your muscles when to move, how to adjust for balance, and they send feedback to your brain about where your feet are and what they're touching. Now imagine these delicate wires getting damaged or frayed. This is essentially what happens in peripheral neuropathy. Conditions like diabetes, especially if blood sugar isn't well controlled over time, can unfortunately be a major cause of this nerve damage. High blood sugar can gradually harm the tiny blood vessels that nourish the nerves, leading to this fraying. Another common culprit can be a deficiency in vitamin B12, a nutrient absolutely essential for keeping nerves healthy and happy. Without enough B12, the protective coating around nerves can wear thin, disrupting their ability to send signals correctly. When these nerve signals get scrambled or weakened, the result is often that troublesome numbness, tingling, burning pain, muscle weakness, and a loss of coordination, making you feel unsteady and significantly increasing your risk of a fall because your brain isn't getting accurate information from your feet. But here's the encouraging part, the ray of hope in this situation. While nerve damage can sometimes be difficult to fully reverse, there's often a lot you can do to prevent it from getting worse or even starting in the first place, and to manage the symptoms you might already have. It really comes down to tackling the underlying cause head-on. If diabetes is the issue, diligently working with your doctor to keep your blood sugar levels within a healthy range is one of the most powerful protective measures you can take for your nerves. Think of it as shielding those delicate wires from further harm. If a vitamin B12 deficiency is suspected or diagnosed, often through a simple blood test, ensuring you get enough of this vital nutrient becomes key. This might mean focusing on B12-rich foods like meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and dairy, or looking for fortified cereals and plant milks. Sometimes, especially if absorption is an issue, your doctor might recommend B12 supplements or even injections to effectively boost your levels and give those nerves the support they need. So from a personal standpoint, if you know you have diabetes, or if you follow a diet that might be low in B12, like a strict vegetarian or vegan diet, or if you have certain digestive conditions that affect nutrient absorption, being proactive is absolutely essential. Don't ignore persistent numbness, tingling, or weakness in your legs or feet. Chat with your doctor about these symptoms and about getting checked for neuropathy and potential underlying causes like B12 levels. Regular checkups and actively managing conditions like diabetes are not just about general health. They are critical investments in maintaining the health of your leg nerves, preserving your strength, and keeping you walking confidently and safely for years to come. It's all about protecting those vital communication lines. 5. Peripheral artery disease, PAD. All right, we know misfiring nerves can cause leg trouble, but picture this. What if the issue isn't faulty signals, but a bottleneck in the fuel line itself, cutting off vital power just when your legs need it most during movement? This brings us to a common reason behind leg pain and weakness that feels very different: peripheral artery disease, or PAD. Imagine the arteries in your legs as flexible hoses carrying essential, oxygen-rich blood down from your heart. In PAD, sticky stuff called plaque, made of fat, cholesterol, and other substances, starts building up on the inside walls of these arteries. Think of it like gunk clogging up plumbing pipes. Over time, this buildup, a process called atherosclerosis, makes the arteries narrower and stiffer, restricting how much blood can actually flow through. Now, when you're just relaxing, your leg muscles might get just enough blood flow to manage. But the moment you stand up and start walking, climbing stairs, or doing anything active, those muscles cry out for way more oxygen and nutrients to power their effort. If the arteries are narrowed by PAD, they simply can't deliver that increased blood supply fast enough. This oxygen shortage is what triggers the classic calling card of PAD, a cramping pain or deep ache, often felt in the calves, thighs, or buttocks, known as claudication. It typically kicks in after a certain amount of activity, and here's the key clue: eases up fairly quickly when you stop and rest, only to creep back when you start moving again. This lack of adequate blood flow doesn't just cause pain, it can also leave your legs feeling heavy, tired, or noticeably weak. It definitely sounds concerning, and it's something to take seriously. But here's where you regain control. PAD is often heavily influenced by your lifestyle choices, and there are powerful, effective ways to manage it and significantly improve your circulation. If you smoke, making the decision to quit is probably the single most impactful change you can make, as smoking is like hitting the accelerator on plaque buildup and squeezing those blood vessels tighter. Working hand in hand with your doctor to get high blood pressure and high cholesterol under control is also absolutely vital. These are major players in the atherosclerosis game. And here's the part that might surprise you. Regular walking exercise is actually one of the best therapies. Yes, it might feel uncomfortable or even painful at first, but consistently walking, always following your doctor's advice on how much and how often, actually nudges your body to develop tiny new blood vessels, like natural bypass routes, around the blockages. Over time, this dramatically improves blood flow. Think of it as your body cleverly building detours around the traffic jams inside your arteries. Looking at it personally, understanding PAD really shines a spotlight on how much our everyday habits matter. What we choose to eat, whether we light up a cigarette, and how much we move directly impacts the health of these critical leg arteries. If you experience that specific kind of leg pain that flares up with activity and settles with rest, don't just dismiss it as a normal part of aging. Bring it up with your doctor. Getting a proper diagnosis, diligently following medical advice to manage those risk factors like blood pressure and cholesterol, and committing to a safe, structured walking program can make an enormous difference. It can ease your pain, boost how far you can walk, and keep your legs strong and reliable, carrying you confidently through life. It's all about protecting those vital supply lines. 6. Osteoarthritis, OA. We've explored how faulty nerve signals or clogged fuel lines in the arteries can sap strength from our legs. But let's imagine a different scenario. What if the signals are clear and the fuel flows freely, but the very mechanical structures, the crucial hinges that allow us to move, begin to fail? This shifts our focus from the leg's internal wiring and plumbing to its fundamental architecture, specifically the joints. When these critical hinges start to degrade, it opens up a whole new pathway to leg weakness, often through a very common condition known as osteoarthritis, OA. Picture the smooth, glistening cartilage lining the ends of bones in your hip or knee joint as a precious, low-friction surface, allowing bones to glide past each other almost effortlessly. OA is what happens when this protective layer gradually wears thin, becoming rough, pitted, and uneven, much like that non-stick coating scraping off an old pan. This wear and tear arthritis, particularly in major weight-bearing joints, isn't just a minor nuisance. It translates into real-world friction, pain, sometimes sharp, sometimes a deep ache, grinding or clicking sensations with movement, and a frustrating stiffness that can make those first few steps after sitting or waking up particularly challenging. Now, this joint deterioration doesn't operate in isolation. It fundamentally alters our movement patterns, sparking a chain reaction that ultimately saps strength from our legs, even though OA itself isn't a muscle disease. When every step, every stair climb sends jolts of pain through your hip or knee, the most natural human response is protective. You instinctively limit that painful motion. You might shorten your stride, favor the other leg, avoid activities you once enjoyed, or simply spend more time off your feet. While this avoidance strategy makes perfect sense to minimize immediate discomfort, it inadvertently starves the surrounding muscles of the work they need to stay strong. The powerful quadriceps at the front of your thigh, the hamstrings at the back, and the stabilizing glute muscles in your buttocks, all crucial for supporting and moving that joint, begin to weaken and lose mass, atrophy, simply from disuse. It creates a detrimental feedback loop. The joint pain discourages activity, the lack of activity weakens the muscles, and those weakened muscles offer less support and stability to the already compromised joint, potentially worsening the pain and instability over time. But here's the empowering part. While we can't magically regrow cartilage yet, there's a lot you can do to manage OA's impact and break that cycle of pain and weakness. The key is finding the right balance between protecting the joint and keeping the supporting muscles strong. Low-impact exercise becomes your best friend. Activities like swimming, water aerobics, or cycling put minimal stress on the sore joints while still providing excellent cardiovascular benefits and keeping the muscles engaged. Think of it as giving your legs a workout without the painful pounding. Alongside this, targeted strength training is crucial. Working with a doctor or physical therapist, you can learn specific exercises to gently strengthen those vital supporting muscles around the hip or knee. Building up this muscular scaffolding helps absorb shock, improves stability, and can significantly reduce the load on the worn-out joint. Of course, managing the underlying OA pain is also essential, and this involves working closely with your healthcare provider. They might recommend medications for pain and inflammation, injections like corticosteroids for short-term relief or hyaluronic acid for lubrication, or in more advanced cases, discuss the possibility of joint replacement surgery. From a personal standpoint, facing OA doesn't mean resigning yourself to weak legs and limited mobility. It means strategically adapting. By embracing joint-friendly exercises that you enjoy, committing to strengthening the muscles that act as your joint support system, and collaborating with your medical team on an effective pain management plan, you can actively mitigate OA's downstream effects on your leg strength and stay much more active and independent than you might think possible. It's about smartly managing the hinge problem to keep the surrounding levers strong and functional. 7. Obesity and sarcopenic obesity. While worn-out joint hinges from osteoarthritis certainly compromise leg strength from within due to pain and structural damage, imagine adding a constant, heavy backpack to that already challenged system. This relentless external load, carried day in and day out, brings us to another major contributor to leg weakness: obesity. Think of excess body weight as that perpetual backpack. It places immense, ongoing mechanical stress not only on vulnerable joints like the hips and knees, often accelerating the very wear and tear process seen in OA, but also directly strains the muscles tasked with supporting and moving your body. Even seemingly simple actions, rising from a chair, crossing a room, climbing a single stair, demand significantly more muscular force when carrying extra pounds. Over time, this chronic overload doesn't just lead to faster fatigue. It can directly contribute to feelings of weakness and diminished stamina in the legs. Now let's layer another insidious challenge onto this picture, one that often creeps up with age: sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass, strength, and function. If we aren't actively working to counteract it, our muscle power naturally tends to decline as the years pass. So, what happens when you combine the heavy backpack of obesity with this weakening muscular engine? You get a particularly detrimental condition known as sarcopenic obesity, representing a severe threat to leg strength and overall mobility. Essentially, you're asking increasingly weaker muscles to manage an ever-present, heavier load. This frequently triggers a vicious cycle. The excess weight makes movement uncomfortable and demanding, naturally discouraging physical activity. This inactivity then accelerates muscle loss, sarcopenia, further reducing strength. Consequently, movement becomes even more difficult, heightening the risk of falls, injury, and a steep decline in your ability to perform daily tasks independently. It's a true double jeopardy where the mechanical burden weighs down on a progressively frail support system. Fortunately, confronting this complex issue doesn't mean resigning yourself to weakness. The promise lies in a strategic, two-pronged approach that tackles both sides of the equation simultaneously. You need to manage the load and strengthen the lifter. This begins with sustainable weight management, prioritizing not just calorie reduction, but a balanced, nutrient-rich diet packed with lean proteins, vegetables, and whole grains to fuel the body properly and support muscle health during fat loss. Complementing this is regular cardiovascular exercise. Think brisk walking, swimming, or cycling, which effectively burns calories and boosts heart health, often with less impact on stressed joints. Crucially, however, cardio alone won't halt muscle loss. Targeted strength training becomes non-negotiable. This involves specific exercises, guided by professionals if needed, using weights, resistance bands, or body weight to actively stimulate muscle growth and preservation. Building or maintaining muscle is vital to ensure your body has the power to carry the weight it has. From a personal standpoint, tackling sarcopenic obesity requires embracing this holistic strategy. It's about recognizing the need to both lighten the load through sensible diet and appropriate cardio, while simultaneously reinforcing your muscular foundation through consistent strength work. Collaborating with healthcare providers like doctors, dietitians, or physical therapists can provide invaluable personalized guidance. Ultimately, success isn't just measured by the number on the scale, but by improving your body composition, achieving a healthier balance where your legs possess both a manageable load and the robust muscular strength needed to carry you confidently and independently through life. 8. Osteoporosis and fractures. Imagine the sturdy, reliable scaffolding holding up a building, essential yet often unnoticed until something goes wrong. Your bones are much the same for your body, and when that internal framework becomes silently brittle, it sets the stage for a major problem. This quiet weakening is called osteoporosis. While it doesn't directly attack your muscles, it makes your bones dangerously fragile, dramatically increasing the risk of a break. The real threat to your leg's strength, stemming from osteoporosis, often comes in the form of a fracture, particularly a hip fracture. This type of break is often a game changer, usually requiring surgery and, critically, leading to a significant period of forced inactivity. Being unable to move freely, perhaps confined to bed, or needing extensive support to get around has a swift and harsh impact on your leg muscles. Here's the tough reality. Muscles need work to stay strong. When they're suddenly put out of commission because you have to stay still while a bone heals, they begin to waste away surprisingly quickly. This muscle loss, known as disuse atrophy, isn't just a minor setback, it can be substantial, making simple actions like standing up or walking feel incredibly difficult, long after the bone itself has mended. A single fracture can unfortunately kickstart a challenging cycle of weakness and reduced mobility. Fortunately, this isn't a story without hope. We have powerful tools to protect our bone health and prevent that first fracture. Building strong bones involves ensuring you get enough calcium and vitamin D, the essential nutrients for bone structure and absorption. Equally important is staying active with weight-bearing exercises. Think walking, dancing, light jogging, or even just climbing stairs. These activities signal your bones to stay dense and strong. For those at higher risk, doctors can prescribe medications that help protect or even build bone density, and regular bone density scans act like crucial checkups for your internal framework. Ultimately, the crucial point is understanding this connection. Fragile bones break more easily, leading to immobility, which in turn causes rapid muscle weakening. It's a cycle that can significantly impact independence, especially as we age. Taking your bone health seriously through diet, exercise, and medical guidance isn't just about avoiding broken bones. It's a proactive investment in maintaining your leg strength, your freedom of movement, and your ability to confidently navigate your world for years to come. Ninth, medication-induced myopathy. We know falls and fragile bones can seriously sideline your strength, but have you ever considered that the culprit weakening your legs might actually be hiding in plain sight inside your own medicine cabinet? It sounds surprising, yet it's a real possibility we need to explore called medication-induced myopathy. Imagine you're diligently taking a medication your doctor prescribed, maybe to protect your heart or calm down inflammation. Then suddenly you notice your legs just don't have their usual power. Perhaps simple things like getting out of a chair feel like a huge effort, or maybe your muscles ache and feel unusually tired or weak for no clear reason. This weakness isn't related to your original health issue. Instead, it's a potential side effect where the treatment itself unintentionally interferes with your muscle function. It truly feels like a curveball, because the very thing meant to help creates a new, unexpected challenge to your ability to move easily. Which medications might be involved then? Two common examples are statins, the drugs many people use to lower cholesterol, plus corticosteroids, such as prednisone, which are powerful medicines used for conditions involving inflammation, like asthma or arthritis. These medications are often incredibly important, doing vital work for our health. However, for some individuals, they can unfortunately disrupt the complex processes muscles rely on to work properly, perhaps affecting energy production or muscle structure. This isn't just in your head, because the medication can directly impact muscle tissue or its ability to function efficiently. Now let's focus on the crucial positive takeaway. Discovering this possibility doesn't mean you're trapped without options. If you suspect a medication is the source of new muscle weakness, your power lies in recognizing that change, then having an open conversation with your doctor. You know your body best. So if you start a new medication and soon after notice your legs feel heavy, weak, or achy in a new way, please don't just dismiss it. Instead, make that call and explain what you're experiencing, because often the fix is quite manageable. Your doctor might be able to simply adjust the dosage of the current medication, or perhaps more likely they can find a different medication that achieves the same health goal for you, but without causing muscle problems. Your doctor can evaluate the situation, fully rule out other potential causes, and ultimately tailor the treatment specifically for you. From my perspective, the most vital advice is to become a keen observer of your own body. This means paying close attention, especially after any medication changes. If that new prescription seems to coincide with your legs feeling like they're filled with sand, or if familiar activities become surprisingly difficult, it's important to flag it. While you should never stop a prescribed medication suddenly on your own, as that can be risky, it's absolutely vital to initiate that discussion with your healthcare provider. Being vigilant and communicative is truly your best defense, ensuring your treatments support your overall well-being without unintentionally stealing the leg strength you need to live actively and independently. 10th stroke, cerebrovascular accident. Imagine waking up one day to find that something as simple as taking a step has become a monumental challenge. This is the reality for many who experience a stroke, a sudden interruption of blood flow to the brain that can drastically alter one's ability to move and function independently. A stroke often targets the brain areas responsible for controlling movement, leading to a condition known as hemiparesis, where one side of the body, including the leg, becomes weak. This weakness can severely impact walking, balance, and the ability to perform everyday tasks, making independence seem like a distant memory. But here's the silver lining. Recovery and prevention are within reach. Post-stroke rehabilitation plays a crucial role in helping individuals regain their strength and mobility. Through a combination of physical therapy, occupational therapy, and sometimes speech therapy, those affected can work towards restoring their lost functions. These rehabilitation efforts focus on retraining the brain and body to work together again, improving balance and coordination, and ultimately enhancing the quality of life. However, the journey towards regaining independence starts even before a stroke occurs. Prevention is key, and it begins with managing the risk factors that can lead to a stroke. High blood pressure, smoking, diabetes, and poor dietary habits are among the most significant contributors to stroke risk. Taking charge of these factors by adopting a healthier lifestyle can dramatically reduce the likelihood of experiencing a stroke. This means committing to regular physical activity, maintaining a balanced diet rich in fruits and vegetables, and avoiding harmful habits like smoking. Monitoring and managing blood pressure is particularly important, as it is one of the leading causes of stroke. Regular checkups with a healthcare provider can help keep blood pressure in check, while medications and lifestyle changes can further mitigate risks. For those with diabetes, controlling blood sugar levels is equally critical, as unmanaged diabetes can significantly increase the risk of stroke. If a stroke does occur, the path to recovery may be challenging, but it is filled with opportunities for growth and improvement. Engaging in a structured rehabilitation program tailored to individual needs can help restore strength and function. It's about taking small, consistent steps towards recovery, celebrating every little victory along the way. In essence, managing cardiovascular health is not just about preventing strokes, it's about preserving the freedom to move, engage, and live life to the fullest. By taking proactive steps to address risk factors and committing to rehabilitation if needed, individuals can protect their leg function and maintain their independence. Remember, each proactive measure you take today can pave the way for a healthier, more mobile tomorrow. And now, as we reach the close of this quiet conversation, I invite you to take one deep breath and simply thank your legs, not just for where they still carry you, but for all the miles they already have. They may move slower, they may ache more, but they are still yours, still capable, still deeply deserving of care. Every small stretch, every mindful step, every bite of nourishing food isn't just about strength. It's about love. Love for your independence. Love for your life. So if today's message stirred something in you, a memory, a moment, a new question, please share it in the comments below. You never know who else might need to hear your voice today. And if you'd like more stories like this, you're warmly invited to subscribe to Olive Wisdom, where growing older is not a quiet fading, but a deeper unfolding. Thank you for walking this path with me. Until next time, walk gently, walk proudly, and never forget, every step still matters.